Hello and welcome to Esther's Gardening Adventures. I'm Esther, and today I thought I would talk about everything you need to get started on growing seeds indoors. So there's many different ways that you can grow the plants that you need for your garden, for your spring and summer garden. And one of them includes starting seeds indoors under grow lights. So the first thing you need to start seeds is to actually have seeds on hand. Now, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about what seeds to buy, but I recommend getting things that you love seeing. If it's flowers, like zinnias are a great way to start. And if you're growing things to eat, I recommend getting things that you know that your family loves, that your household loves, that you love to cook and to eat fresh or cooked. And that's a good starting place. You don't have to buy a bunch of exotic stuff if it's your first time going. Once you have your seeds on hand, then you're going to need some potting mix. And I say potting mix, make sure to pay attention to that, potting mix or potting soil. And the reason is that my first year gardening, I bought seed starting mix. And I thought, oh, well, it's for starting seeds, right? Well, that's okay too, but seed starting mix doesn't have any nutrients in it. It's really only there as a way to literally start your seeds. All seeds come with a little bit of nutrients in them that they can feed off of when they get started. So you can start with seed starting mix, but within about a week or two, you're going to need to put them, if you've used seed starting mix, you're going to need to put them in some potting mix that has compost and other nutrients that will feed the seedlings as they get bigger and bigger and as you get closer to putting them in, time to put them in the ground. So it saves you a step and possibly money to start off with potting mix or potting soil. But if you did start off with seed starting mix, that's okay. Just make sure that you pot them up, put them into a bigger container once they've gotten going with potting mix that has nutrients for them. I recommend getting at least 2 cubic feet of potting mix, depending on how much you're going to be doing, because you won't need it just for the first batch. You'll need them to transplant them or to put them in bigger pots. Now, I recommend going and getting your potting mix now. Buy what you need now. The reason being, at least here in Maryland Zone 7A, is that most nurseries don't restock their supplies until March or April. And so whatever they have on hand now is what they're going to have on hand for the rest of the winter season. Next thing you're going to need is containers to put your potting mix and your seeds in. So you can use any kind of container as long as you can put holes in the bottom. I haven't put holes in the bottom of this, but as long as you can put holes in the bottom for good drainage, and it's at least 2 inches. This is probably about 3 inches tall. So like if you buy yogurts, save those yogurt containers, put holes in them. You don't have to buy new material necessarily, but you can buy seed cells. So this is a 4-pack seed cell. You can buy them in 6 cells, 32 cells, 90, 120 cells. The thing to know is the greater number of cells per unit, the smaller the cells are going to be. While you can start off with a smaller container, there is only a limited amount of time those seedlings can grow in that container. They're going to run out of space to grow and they're going to use up the nutrients there. And they'll get what's called root bound, which is basically not good for the plants. It's not healthy plants. So at some point after you start your seeds, you're going to have to move what they call the plugs, the little tiny seed starts, into, with the roots and all, into a bigger cell. But also, ultimately, every seed that you start is likely going to need a pot this big, okay? Especially for tomatoes and peppers. And zucchini and cucumbers, they need quite a bit of root space. So keep in mind that while a 120 cell tray sounds awesome, you're going to need to be able to squeeze 120-ish of these in here in the end before you can put things in the garden. So keep that in mind when you're deciding how many seeds to plant. Now, one thing that's important to know about winter is that not only are the days shorter, but the strength of the sun, the distance the sun is to where we are, is actually further away. And so we actually get less energy rays. We get less energy from the sun in the winter. And that is why a windowsill just won't cut it for your plants. You need to have some kind of supplemental light. Don't go buy grow lights. Buy shop lights. Basically, these are LED lights. They're very light, and you basically buy what people would put up in their garage or to work on their cars or hang in their shed, right? Shop lights. You don't have to buy things that say grow lights on them. It's kind of like a wedding, right? If you're planning a wedding, the wedding label adds 3 times the price to any event you're holding. Similar to grow lights is like the wedding label of gardening. Get shop lights. They're much cheaper. You need to have these on once the seeds sprout. I tend to turn them on once I see the first couple of seedlings sprout for a set that I have. But you don't have to have them on while they're still in the potting mix and they haven't like come out of the soil yet. But once they come out of the potting mix and come out of the soil, you want to put them on, and you want to put them fairly close to where the plants are, because especially those seedlings will get really leggy. They'll grow really, really far and not put out many leaves trying to reach the sun. So you want to put this fairly close to them. And that is another reason why, another thing you will need, as you can see behind me, this is my setup. I bought this shelving system. It's basically your garage or storage shelving system. And I bought this, and you can see I have some lights hanging from it. You'll need to buy shelving systems, a shelving system that has holes or places for you to be able to put the hanging, the chain or the rope or whatever you're going to use to connect, to hang your S-hooks or whatever to your lights to hang them from the thing. So make sure that when you buy a shelving system that it has either bars or slots that you can squeeze things through. If it has a flat shelf with no, like over here, if it has a flat shelf with no slots underneath of it, then you will have to drill some holes, which is also an option, but it's kind of a pain in the butt versus just buying something that has that. Now, along with grow lights and a place to hang them, you will need, what did I do with it? You will want to invest in some kind of timer that you would you would have if you were going on vacation right at home, would turn on your lights. Now you may have a smart light system, but I'm old school. I do the dials and the pop in and out. So this basically has it so that the ones that are out, in this case, are when the lights will not be on. Actually, it's a 24-hour cycle. Now back behind me here, you can see I have a Meyer lemon tree bush that I bought at the nursery this year. I have a light here. It's unplugged right now because it really throw things off. But this I've been using to grow this tree in the winter to supplement the light. And I have a timer where I have it running. You want to give it a little more hours than you would for an average daylight because this light is not as strong. But yeah, you want to buy a timer, and if you can get one that has plugs on either side of it instead of just one plug. And you'll want to get some kind of extension cord and power bar, because although this does give you something to plug into, you'll want to have some additional plugs to plug into. One of the other things you'll need to start your seeds is some kind of tray and humidity dome. Now, I am an advocate for saving money where you can. And if you go to the Dollar Tree or dollar store for $1.25, you can get a set of 2 of these. And it's not the most sustainable option, but if you're just getting started, it's only $1.25 versus at a garden center, you would probably pay $6 to $10 for this, if not more. And I also kind of like the fact that they're smaller. A lot of these domes and trays are really long, and I don't need all of that. So what you do is, let me show you. So you need something that'll hold the water, so when you water your seedlings in your pots, the water won't go everywhere in your house, right? So you take your pot, and then how it works is, and I'm actually going to be growing some cilantro today. I'm only going to do 1 cell for it, actually, instead of 2. Now this potting mix has already been moistened, so I'm just going to push it in a little bit here, and then I'll put my seed in. You know what, I'll put 4 seeds in. Okay, so I just push them in enough and then put a layer over top of them, maybe a little bit more. It doesn't need to be super deep because you want the seeds to be able to sprout and not struggle to get to the top. You're going to want to have a spray bottle filled with water. I just have a tiny bit of water in here, but you can spray the water on the surface to help it get through all the way and make sure those seeds are fully moistened. Have a nice moist here. If you see some drops coming out the bottom, some water coming out the bottom, that's a good sign, but it's okay if you don't. Now, the reason you need a humidity dome is because having humid, moist conditions can help a seed sprout faster. And you will have to water them less if you have a humidity dome on. So a humidity dome is basically something that'll lock in the moisture. You can use a plastic bag, you can use saran wrap, you can use something like this, and it doesn't have to be tight fitting, right? Now you go ahead and you set this somewhere warm. Now for some things, it can help. Now this is a good to have, but not a must have. which is to have a heat mat for your seedlings. You don't have to buy one with a thermostat. You don't have to get a super expensive one. I think I got a 2-pack for like $10 or $12 last year. I can't remember the exact amount. But you'll set the tray. First of all, I have a heat mat that's already flattened out, but you may need to do something to help it level out. It will level out some once you plug it in. But basically, let's imagine that this is flat. You plug it in and you set this on top of it until you see the seeds starting to sprout. Pay attention, make sure it stays nice and moist, and this is a great way to get your seeds started. Now, you don't have to have the dome. You can go without a dome. You can just leave the seedlings. Just make sure to mist the top every once in a while until you see things sprout. And then once they've sprouted, you will need to water them consistently whenever they start running out of water, probably once to twice a week, maybe more than that, depending on what kind of size cell you have. Another thing you'll need to have on hand for seed starting is some way to write down what you're growing, right? So I recommend, even though you don't need these for indoors, because you're going to be writing your plant labels and because you're going to be putting your plant labels outside to mark what you've grown outside in the garden when you put your plants in the garden, it's a good idea to mark these with a pen that will be able to handle the sun and won't fade as fast. So I like to get oil-based paint pens. They can be quite expensive, but a pack of black oil-based paint pens will last you a long time. Instead of going out and buying a whole bunch of plant tags, which you can do if it's easier for you, but if you have kids and you want to give them a project to do, or if you're kind of sitting there watching the TV, it's an easy thing to do. And if you use yogurt, save up your yogurt tubs and cut out these little plastic, see, this is from a yogurt tub, cut out these little plastic things. You just cut off, make the tip. You don't even have to give it a pointed tip. It's just easier when you put the plants outside. Cilantro. If you want, when you're starting it indoors, you can put the date. So today is the 28th, I think. So that way you know when you started them. Now, you don't want to start your seeds in January. You want to wait until February or March to start them. And unlike the winter sowing process, which is the other process that I grow most of my seeds using, you will want to look at, I go to the Maryland Extension Office, Agricultural Extension Office at Maryland University. They have on their website a wonderful chart of when to start your seeds indoors, when to put them outside in the garden, all of that. So find your local extension office chart, or talk to other local gardeners. But generally, and sometimes your seed packets will also say start 6 to 8 weeks or 4 to 6 weeks before your last frost date. So you want to look up, first of all, your average frost date for your area, your average last frost date for your area. For us, I think it's like mid-April. And then you want to count back the number of weeks from that to when you start your seeds. I think it's like 6 to 8 weeks for peppers or something like that. So look it up. You can look it up online. You can also look at what your extension office suggests. A good way to get started. And from here, you should be good to go. All right. Good luck growing this year. I hope you have a great season.